As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
PHOENIX. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. PHOENIX. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans Podcast, Season 3, Episode 5. We are here, very special occasion. But before I introduce our special guest, I'll introduce our regulars here. Nate, Boyd, how we going, lads?
Fantastic.
Awesome, boys. Awesome.
Love your work. And, of course, I'm Gavin, your host. And we have a very, very special guest along, ESPO from the PHNX crew. How you going, ESPO? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, always a pleasure. Anything for my Australian guys. Even though I was called a clown, you guys came to my defense and explained what that meant to all the illiterates out here, and it's much appreciated. So.
And, of course, we were upset because we missed you when we were over there. You caught COVID just when we were going out for an event at a chicken wing place. So next time, definitely we have to catch up, yeah?
Yeah, anytime you guys are out here, as long as I don't have some bizarre illness that supposedly spreads really quickly, I'll definitely be there with you.
We'll hold you to that.
No problem.
And lastly, Nate, you're doing okay, Nate? Because this is a significant fanboy moment for you.
I know. I had to get a tissue and just dry the eyes before we started, but
I'm glad you said the eyes.
I was going to keep that to myself. But... No, I think I told you when you first said that ESPO was coming on that I was I used to the solar panel when it was you and Tim, ESPO and Dave was when I first sort of came across you and always just think how cool it would be to be on that pod. And then when Gav did this, and next thing you know, we're sitting here today. That's where the fanboy moment came from.
You've got the better show now, so congratulations.
Leave Dave alone. The solar panel's still okay.
I was talking about my show, but if you want to get his Dave shade, that's up to you.
Go on.
All right. We'll get straight into it. We'll get through this part quickly. We'll have a look at last week's games. Of course, probably wasn't the greatest week for the Phoenix Suns, but let's have a quick look. Since our last pod, we've played Philly, which was an 88-100 loss. A big win against Minnesota, 129-117. And then, of course, yesterday, a loss to Orlando, 97-114. Espo, you can kick us off here. I know you've given your opinions on the other pods, but tell us about the week in Phoenix Suns basketball.
Well, look, it comes down to no Cam Johnson, and the offense is trying to figure out who they are and what they are. And DA hasn't shown up the way that you hope. I mean, those are the big factors. They looked really good against Minnesota, but that's Minnesota, and I think that had more to do with the fact that the Timberwolves haven't figured out who the hell they are at this point with their Twin Tower lineup that just doesn't seem to be working. And honestly, the Orlando game was one of the ugliest basketball games I've seen in a long time. And I sat courtside for the team through through 5 of the worst years ever, and that was still some of the ugliest basketball I've seen in Orlando. So,
yeah, it wasn't pretty. Nate, thoughts?
The word that kept coming to mind for the Orlando game was unfixable. He sort of got to this point where just nothing was going in. Every shot was missing. Campaign kept shooting the three, and then he hesitated. He thought, I've got to shoot it anywhere. Better shoot the open shot. Still missed. It really did. That game looked unfixable. I couldn't wait to get to the end of it. The first one I thought was interesting, though, because it was the 76ers game. It was, I think you were talking about it, Gav, about Embiid not really playing as well against us, or we usually getting the better of him, but certainly didn't happen in that game. Toby Harris stepped up, and that was the first game without Cam, right? And then CP3 goes down 11, 13 minutes in. So they had to figure out what was going on the fly. So I think you can give him a pass for that one. And I think you said everything did about the Minnesota game, especially with they opened the game by saying that there was an illness going around the locker room, right? So everyone was playing under their best. And we as Suns fans, given the way we exited the playoffs, can't discourage that. Yeah.
So, look, Campaign was the only shining light in that game, Nate. He's fucking he should have been taking
Which
more
game?
shots. The Orlando game. He should have been taking more shots. He was the only prick out of that starting lineup. Now, I thought the starting lineup were really, really poor. We've struggled against fucking Portland twice this season so far, and now Orlando, and we're struggling to put the sword to these really fucking shitty teams, and it's frustrating. It's in a funny way. It's also not so concerning because we know that we have their number, but still, it's more frustrating, I guess. It's more frustrating, but everything's going to be okay, type of a thing. It's just
unfortunately not uncommon for us, though.
Man, hey, and that 76ers loss is probably the only one I'm concerned about because I feel like our team would have gotten up for that game. We always get up for Philly, right? Book always fucking scorches them, and that's a game that I feel like we actually lost. I've had Tobias Harris in a bunch of multis, and he never fucking comes through on any of the legs. And he would have, like, the lines that I usually go, the markets I usually go, he would have came through and got them easy against us. So, look, it's been a funny week. It's I had us down for all wins, easy wins.
That's a shock.
Yeah. Look, I'm frustrated. I thought that game against Orlando, ESPO, you were saying on your pod that dropped over here. Would have been probably directly after the game, but were you saying that the bench was horrible? The bench was a difference, so a -10 or something like that, or
I thought that when my point was when you have two guys in Campaign and Torrey Craig that have to move to the starting lineup out of that bench, and then you're expecting them to be the group that brings you back in a game like last night, Friday night in Orlando. You can't rely on those guys because you're already so deep into the bench that if the starters aren't playing well, you can't. That group isn't going to bring you back, and that was what they were kind of trying to rely on. And the -10, the 10-point differential was just kind of this group can't dig you out of a hole. You can't put them in that position. So.
Yeah, true. It's really odd about DeAndre Ayton getting 26 minutes, and I felt like Monty had to make a decision between Biyombo and Landale, pick one and just sort of run with them, and maybe have Ayton up at that 34, 36 minute mark. I believe he may have failed. It may not have worked any better, but yeah, frustrating.
And I think we'll talk about DA. And look, it was interesting because the starters were so bad in Orlando, so bad.
Bol got a start for crying out loud.
But when we actually got back into the game and hit the front, it was the bench. The bench were the guys that did it. I think D. Lee was out there, hit a couple of threes in a row. All of a sudden, the bench brought us back into the game, but our starters were just so poor. They were so flat. In saying that, all I'll keep going back to is we talk about Chris Paul reducing the workload. And I did listen on Fanning the Flames, and the guys on there spoke about the fact that if this was last year, Chris Paul probably would have played right now. He'd be playing.
Yeah.
This is what we wanted as fans. Let Chris Paul take a back seat. If he's a little bit sore, have a couple of games off, see what everyone else can do. What are we, 8-4 now? Like, it's not a hell of a lot to panic about. And I think Nate touched on it. When it comes to the lower teams in the NBA, we generally struggle because these guys don't get motivated for these games. So I don't think it's as much of a concern as a lot of people might believe it is. But still, we don't want to be losing games like that to Orlando, where there was absolutely nothing. I was more than happy to turn that game off and go to my kids' sport on a Saturday, which normally I don't do. I'm always trying to hang on as long as I can. And no, yesterday I'm out. I'm going home.
Did you at least see the one highlight, that the campaign leg breaker on Wendell? It was one play worth watching for the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. It was just that one play where he took Wendell Carter Jr. baseline, and I joked he had to drop the junior because now Cam's his daddy. So
yeah, that sounds accurate too. It's look, it wasn't the greatest game, but they're the type of games you just move on. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. And while I think there's certainly things that we need to address within the squad, that sort of game against Orlando is just one we move on. All right, so let's have a look at what we've got coming up this week.
Weekend Suns basketball.
So before our next pod, we've got Miami Tuesday. And apologies, ESPO, but this is an Australian podcast, so these are our times and our games. 11:30 a.m. Tuesday, League Pass. Golden State, 2 p.m., where we will unveil are they the City Edition jerseys, I believe?
yeah.
And then Utah, 1 p.m. on Saturday on League Pass. So we've got to stop with the Saturday games in Australia, please, NBA, because I've got like 4 kids that play sport and I miss most of them. So how do you see this week rolling out, ESPO? Are you looking forward to the unveiling of the jerseys? And we heard you on the PHNX pod. You're now a fan of these jerseys. I'm also a fan of these jerseys. Always have been, by the way. But I do agree with you. The way they rolled it out was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, once you hear the meaning behind it, you see the way they rolled it out. I was afraid because, and I said this on the PHNX show, but I'll repeat it. Having been a part of those launches before, a lot of times they're just total bullshit. They make something up to try to make it sound cool. I mean, hell, I was part of groups who made crap up to try to make them sound cool before. And my biggest fear was it was going to sound disingenuous, and then it was going to be a non-Suns color, and it was just going to feel forced, and it did not. It was anything but that. So I'm all in on it now. I'm excited to see the court. I think they did that right. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it on the floor. In terms of the week overall, game-wise, Miami's always tough. I mean, especially they're spending 48 hours in South Beach before the game. I mean, God knows what kind of shape they're going to be in by the time that game rolls around. I think we're going to have a lot of dehydrated guys out there for multiple reasons. So
hey, at least they'll be able to get into Miami. That was part of the problem with Orlando, right?
That's true. They didn't have to fly into some other Florida city and then bus there over 2 hours. So at least that's a benefit. Look, Miami hasn't played great. I think it'll be a close game. This team plays pretty well after a bad loss. I think they'll get the win there. I think they go 2-1. I think they win Wednesday. They probably lose, they win Thursday your time. They probably lose Saturday your time. So,
Nate.
Yeah, I've got the same 2-1 for the road. I'm glad you put me ahead of Boyd because we know what Boyd's going to say for the win-loss record. Yeah,
standard.
Look, I agree with the Miami thing. I think we get the win. Might be close because it's Miami, but I still think we get that. The Golden State Warriors one, I think, is the issue because we're meeting them depleted. Down 2 players in our starting lineup, albeit at home. The Warriors have something to prove at the moment, so I think they'll put it to us there. And then the Utah game I put down as a win, and like you said, Espo, we don't win. 2 in a row. Don't lose, 2 in a row. So, I think that, and to be honest, Utah don't deserve to be where they are on the ladders. So it's a team built or constructed to rebuild, not to sit there and win. So I think at some point they're going to start their tumble down the standings. And why not do it this week against us?
Boyd.
Yeah, mate. Look, I've got us winning them all. I always do. But with the way we're tracking, I'm thinking that fucking Utah game is probably our biggest worry, given the way that we're letting our guard down and fucking letting these.
How can you let your guard down against the number one ranked side in the West?
But we know who they are.
I know.
We know who they are.
I just want to hang shit on you.
Are they number one in the West, though?
Yep.
Fucking hell.
Oh, hang on. No, Portland are. Sorry, they're number 2, aren't they? Portland is still at the top.
It's like we're in a multiverse, right? And we're fucking trying to work shit out, and we're all fucking half-wits. Anyway, I think
there's no debate there.
Yeah, look, I think we'll probably fare a lot better against the better teams in this stretch than we do against Utah. Again, we'll let the guard down, and but you know what I hope happens. I hope we have an instance where the playing group starts hearing this narrative getting around that we're shit against shit teams, and they fucking pick it up and they blow some people out for us in the near future. That's what I'm hoping. But we'll likely struggle. But I've got 3 wins, guys.
I think that's the biggest concern is Phoenix Suns basketball. Whoever's there, the players, whatever else, you're costing us multis when you don't perform against shit teams. You need to step up. So, ESPO, for your and all the guys from the US in the chat right now, a multi is a parlay out here. We call them a multi. You're costing us. So you need to step up, start hitting those fucking shots and getting us our money back.
Can I start using the multi-term too? Because I like that much better than parlay.
Of course you can.
Go for it.
All right, perfect.
Of course you can. It is much better than parlay. It's as simple as that. Big week for us.
Before we move too far off the home game where we launched the new city jerseys, maybe ESPO, have you got any insight on what the team's planning on doing for that kind of launch for everyone at the stadium? What kind of event?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard, but my guess is they'll probably give out turquoise shirts or turquoise towels just to try to get the color in the arena, since most people, as much as we enjoy the city seems to enjoy that, I don't think they own the merch yet. So they'll probably try to get that stadium, the arena looking like that on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to get there. Thursday your time. I think they're going to have that building looking pretty turquoise rather than the purple and orange that's usually there.
I must admit, when I saw the turquoise jerseys, the launch video, and Gav, you're a total AZ sports fan as well, and ESPO, you'd know that the trim on it kind of reminded me of one of the Coyotes jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
So is that intentional, or is for like a cross Arizona thing? Or?
It's very much a Native American pattern, so it came into play. It does come into play on those Coyotes Kachina jerseys that they have, and that was part of why they used it on the Suns jersey, was because of the Native American tie-in that the jersey has. So,
right. Sorry to hijack that there, Gav.
So can I make my predictions now, or?
Oh, if you must.
I think that we will look. The Miami game's interesting to me. The perfect thing with the Miami game is that we're in town and James Jones can get this trade done. We can move on. Max Strus can join the Phoenix Suns. We can pick up some picks. Jay Crowder can fuck off. That's the best part about being in Miami right now. The Golden State game, is it just me or do the Warriors suck?
No, it's not just you. They suck.
They suck. They're really not that good. If Steph catches fire, they're hard to beat. But outside of that, they're really struggling this year. I've watched a few of their games and they're just not doing well. I think with the unveiling, everything like that, depends on what sort of attitude that DA has when he rolls out there, I suppose. But I think we beat the Warriors. And Utah, God, I hope we beat them. This might just be an Australian thing, Espo, but I've got so many mates that barrack for Utah, and they are fucking annoying.
Why? Why are they still your friends?
Well, initially,
why they barrack for Utah?
Initially, they barracked for Utah because of Joe Ingles.
Oh, yeah.
Aussie went over there, joined Utah. Now they're Utah fans. But in saying that, they've been a hell of a lot more quiet up until Utah started winning. So I'm going to go 3-0 this week. We have to respond to what we dished up in Orlando. We're going to do that. We've got two of the best teams in the NBA in our next two games. And then it should be an automatic motivation that Utah are top two in the West and you need to knock them over. So I'm going 3-0 this week.
So two of us at 2-1 and two at 3-0. I like that. I think that's fairly optimistic. I know there's some programs out there that are probably saying 1-2 or 0-3. Not here.
No, we're positive here.
Sure, we'll touch on those fuckers.
Yeah, and let's on that note, let's get into the negativity. Let's talk about.
There it is. Segue.
Let's talk about this week in Suns basketball. My very first question for you, gentlemen, and I hate to do this because I got in such a brawl in our online chat group. We have a Facebook chat group with Suns fans. I got in a brawl with them. And then worst thing was this guy made me look like a fucking dickhead in the last couple of minutes of the game against who'd we play? What was the game we won? Minnesota. And then didn't do great again following that up. Has DA checked out in Phoenix?
I don't know that he's checked out, but he certainly has stalled. I'll say that. His growth has come to a crashing halt. You know, every year we'd seen him get a little bit better, and this year he's regressed. Now, I don't know how much the ankle injury has to do with that, if that's still lingering, and that's why we're not seeing as much out of him, at least over the last handful of games, but something isn't quite right there, and I don't know if there is something to the bad feelings, the bad vibes, or quite frankly, if this is just DA. I mean, a lot of us have defended him, have stand for him, have sat out there and said, no, this guy is one of the best in the league. He deserves the money. And this year he's rewarded with being at best the guy he was last year. And if that's that guy, if that's the best we're going to get out of DA, he's not a max guy. Now, there'll still be, if you go down the road eventually of trading him, there'll still be people that'll go, oh, no, we can fix him, because that's the NBA. But right now, I need to see him take it up another notch here in the next few weeks for me to believe that he still has that in him, that there's still that chance that he is better than this guy. Because I'm starting to wonder, and I know a lot of people, including Saul, who's been one of the biggest DA supporters over the last 4 years, are starting to wonder what the hell is going on with it.
Well, if I jump in there, on your last the PHNX pod with after the mini game, you guys were discussing the way he sees his game versus the way the team needs him to play. He sees himself as more of a power forward position rather than the true center, where his capability and the role they need to play is. So you spoke at length about that. Is he just lazy, like an soon-to-be ex-owner once said, or is he truly in his own head playing out of position? And do you see him as untradeable, or is he playing himself into he's got to go?
Well, he's definitely not. There are plenty of people that would want DA if you decided to go that route of moving him. I don't want to say he's lazy. I don't think that's fair to him. This guy has come a long way for somebody who started playing basketball at the age of 14. So lazy, I don't think is right. I think he may believe that he is putting in full effort and hasn't realized he can tap into that other gear. He can reach that level that, we talk about playoff DA from that finals run and everything. You can reach that in the regular season. And I think he thinks he's working as hard as he possibly can, that he is putting in all the effort. And it's just about convincing him that, no, there is another level you can get.
Reality is that the level he reached in that finals run That should be his baseline.
Needs to be
It was
money.
it was. Let's be honest. We've had this discussion 100 times on this show, right? The NBA pays fucking ridiculous money. We've got to move on to that, right? The whole max guy thing and everything like that. You guys know where I stand on that. It's bullshit now. People just get paid. That's what they do because the money's there and they can pay them, so they do. Reality is that he should have set a baseline in that finals of how he should play the game. Now, again, I was a big DA supporter last year. I've still been a big DA supporter this year. In the chat, I nearly got into brawls where I was going to get on a plane, fly over to Perth and slap Rob in the face. But then in the last 3 minutes of that game, he gave up. I don't think it's about whether or not he thinks he works hard enough or whatever. I just don't think mentally that right now he's putting himself in the best position that he can, especially in the last two games, for this team. And I truly believe that it's because he doesn't believe he's getting enough plays run for him. And his usage rate should be higher.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that, especially the rebounding, right? And rebounding is all about passion and willingness to work at it. I mean, Charles Barkley was all of 6'4". I mean, they list him at 6'6". The dude's no bigger than 6'4". He was always semi out of shape, and yet he rebounded better than anybody out there on that court on most given nights because he was motivated to do it. He went out there, he hustled, he was smart about it. That's where I look at DA and I go, does he just not care that much about that? Because 7 rebounds on a given night from a guy that's that big that is usually in a spot where a rebound could be had and he's not getting them drives me freaking nuts. That's where I'm most concerned about the hustle, the heart, the effort, because everything can change just by having that on the glass, and he doesn't show.
18 rebounds. That was his total for the last 3 games. Steven Adams does that in a night.
Yeah, unacceptable.
And that's the big thing. Like, reality is that over the last 3 years, what we've expected from DA is he's a walking double-double. Mm-hmm. We know he's going to get 15, 17, and 10 or 12 rebounds. This year...
Yeah, we don't mean double-double as in 10 points in 10 minutes.
He's now... But that's the thing. This season so far, he's not getting that. And it frustrated. Look, the Orlando game frustrated me because in the first quarter, DA dominated, right? He had 10 points. He was 5 from 6 from the field. We were trying to feed him in that first quarter. Then it stopped. It stopped again. And this is what's frustrated me for a couple of years. And if we go back to previous pods, I've said it before, when we're struggling to hit those shots from outside, and we were on the weekend, McCall sucked, Book sucked, Campaign was the only one hitting shots. Just feed into DA again. What did he have? 12 shots against Orlando? He was 7 from 12.
And most of those came in the first quarter.
And that's the thing. He had 6 in the first quarter, 6 or 7 in the first quarter.
Oh.
What the hell happened after that? Why are we not going back to that setup and actually punching the ball in? DA's got a point if he's whinging about his low usage rate, because we've done this in the past for years. Used him in the first quarter and then not gone back to him, even when we're struggling.
Well, it's problematic because when CP3's not there, it seems to happen even more. Him and Book don't seem to have that connection, right, on the pick and roll. CP3, and I don't want to make it sound like that Chris Paul's the only reason that DeAndre Ayton has played well over the last 3 years, but he's a factor in it. He's one of the best distributing guards in the history of the league. And
that's what he does. I mean, DeAndre Jordan was a gun center when he played with CP3. Since he's been trash.
Yeah, so I think you got to factor that in too, because he's missing that guy that distributes the ball better than anybody as well. So I think that's a factor on the offensive side. It has nothing to do with his rebounding or defense, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, DA. I don't think DA's checked out. It's fucking like, what are we about 10 games in?
But did you watch the end of that uni game?
Yeah, I did watch it, mate.
He
I've watched
didn't
every
help
fucking
at
game.
all.
He hasn't checked out. We're about 10 games into a new season. All right. He was off for a week. He's had some ankle issues. Now he's clearing out a lot for Book when he should be in there probably banging around a bit, trying to get better position for rebounding. But so we're scolding him for that on one side, but we'll praise Book when he drops fucking 40 odd. You know what I mean? He's doing his part for the system, I feel, and you know he could be a little bit more energetic in that sense, similar to a Torrey Craig who seems to be swooping around every single opportunity there's a rebound. He swoops around that key and just fucking tries to jump over someone and grab it. He's not coming with that energy, and that would be nice, but I think he is playing to a system which is sort of taking away from that part of his game a little bit. But I mean, man, he can't. He could be a little bit more aggressive, but again, we're 10 games in. I think his offenses look great when he's actually applied himself. So I don't think
he gets the ball.
Well, yeah,
Give him the ball.
He's still taking the same amount of shots in it, and in the games that he has played, guys, a lot of these games he's getting into foul trouble, and they're sort of holding him out. Then he's coming back.
Early he was the last couple of games.
I know. But in saying that, the last game he got 26 fucking minutes.
Yeah,
which is an issue. He had no foul trouble. So look, a little bit of a mixture of an injury there. He was off for a bit. We've got now he's playing team ball still, and he always does. He's had a few games with foul trouble, and one of the only games that he hasn't had one of these things lingering over him. He's got fucking he gets 26 minutes and he's not in any foul trouble at all. So I think it's a few different compounding things that are sort of adding to this. But look at his you look at his efficiency when he is taking shots. I mean, nothing's really regressed in that sense, if you ask me.
But that's not whether or not he's checked out in Phoenix, right? Because DA is still going to play his game when he gets the opportunity to play it, right? My problem was, if you watch the last 3 minutes of that Minnesota game, he was not getting up and down the floor. He looked disinterested. There was even a play that I watched where he went and stood a meter inside the 3-point line for the entire offensive set.
Okay, well,
and did not move. That's a worry.
Yeah, that's
bully your way in, ESPO. Just bully your way in.
Well, I just think, I mean, he got, let's be honest, Cat and Gobert handed him his ass, right, in that game. And I think that's sometimes where you see DA maybe get a little disengaged because he's getting, I mean, he got worked in that game in particular by Gobert. So some of it I think is that. I mean, any of us, if we go out there and we just take a beating at work for a day, by the end of that day, we're hanging our head and we're just like, let's just fucking get through this, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I don't think it's fair to sometimes take the human element out of the game. Sometimes they're going to react the same way we do. Getting your ass handed to you, you're going to hang your head. You're not going to be as engaged as you necessarily are. And he knew he was getting beat by Gobert in that game. So.
But my issue still is in that game is I don't think he was being beaten by Gobert for 3 quarters. Gobert did his damage in the last quarter. I mean, I think Gobert scored 12 in the last quarter. In saying that, we were 25 up at that stage, and they brought it back to 12.
I don't think we read too much into that, Gav, really.
But his energy just dropped off completely. I just saw some really concerning things in that game. And then he followed it up with, let's be brutally honest here. His first quarter was really solid against Orlando, but he got completely wiped off the floor by Wendell Carter Jr.
Wendell Carter Jr. looked like fucking Nikola Jokic, or I can't think of the comparison right now, but he fucking looked pretty good. Bol was
Up until campaign crossed him.
Oh, Bolt looked like Carl Anthony Towns at the 3-point contest. He fucking these guys were just doing they were doing Adelaide 36 of things, and they were fucking raining. It was
I know that people look at this and don't think it's a huge deal, but the weird ass travel it took to get there too has an impact on these guys.
Sure.
These guys are treated in the most bougie way possible. When they got chartered flights and they're pampered, and riding on a bus for 2 hours is not what these guys are used to, and getting in super late to that city, not getting in the practice they were supposed to have, getting out of rhythm with what they usually do. That could have had a big impact across the board in that Orlando game. So I throw most of that out and just go, okay, if we see a repeat
It's an aberration.
Miami, that's when I'm concerned. But this is hopefully a one-off.
But I mean, you could see like someone like Michael Jordan looking at what you just said, Espo, and just going, pussies.
But that's the reality of today's game. I mean,
absolutely, it's a different game, isn't it? And people are treated differently. Everything they do is different in today's game to what it was in the 90s when Michael Jordan was running around, or Magic and Bird before that. It's just the way it is now.
Oh yeah, I mean, shit. When Magic and Bird were playing, they're flying commercial flights. At the beginning of Jordan's career, that was the same. I mean. They look at this and they're like, hey, you guys got this good and you get all the money. Shut the hell up,
All right. My next question for you guys. We're 10 games into the season. It might be a little bit early to ask, but who really is the Robin to Devin Booker's Batman in this Phoenix Suns lineup?
There isn't one.
Ooh.
And I think that's been the problem all along. I mean, CP3 to an extent was the last few years, but when he disappeared in the playoffs, or got injured or got sick, then the Suns made their exit in both of the last 2 years. So with Chris Paul seeming like Father Time is starting to win that battle, I don't think he has one at all right now.
Espo, Batman, who's that the old dude who makes all the gadgets for him?
Oh, is Alfred, his butler.
Yeah, Chris Paul's Alfred. Yeah,
that's Chris Paul, and I'm quite happy. You need a fucking Alfred.
You need an Alfred
guy, and he can be that guy, forever and a day, and he can stay with
you. But who's Robin then? I mean,
it should be DA.
I did hear it over the off season.
It should be DA.
Really, it's between Mikal Bridges and DA, right?
Yeah, it should be DA.
That's what everyone thinks.
It should be DA right now. It should be.
The Bridges is the one showing up.
Is he?
No, well, not really. No.
Terrible against Orlando.
No. It's just all fucking.
One game. We've been praising him for like a week.
It's not just one game, though. It's not just one game. We praised him for his game against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because he played a ripping game. But against Philly, he was terrible. So out of the 3 games this week, he's played 2 poor games and 1 good game. Against Philly,
true to your word, Gav, you said this was a negativity.
Who destroyed us? Who was the random bloke that because we always have one random bloke that destroys us against every team. Who was the guy?
He hit like 8
Philly? Was Nang.
Philly was
George Nang.
Niang guy.
Yeah, he had 7 threes in that game. I mean, it's always a random dude like that.
And who was defending him?
Well, there fucking wasn't anyone defending him.
Mikal was defending him.
Yeah, but they admitted that they admitted, I think it was Book even, that their strategy was to leave him open from deep, and they got burned because he hadn't hit anything like that before, and they didn't adjust real well to it. So.
Wait, as soon as they get to a timeout, they're like, Oi, this can't hit fucking 4 in a row, can he?
And there it is. 39 minutes in, and we are now officially not safe for children.
Oh, shit. That's all right.
If you hadn't noticed, Espo, we always just wait for who drops the first C-bomb and how long it takes. This has been a pretty good episode to get this far in.
I'm glad I could up your standards to the last 39 minutes.
That's what she said.
I think I agree with your boy. It should be DeAndre Ayton. I don't think we give him the ball enough for him to become Robin to Devin Booker's Batman. Mikhail showed a hell of a lot of signs in that game against Minnesota, but he was just so disappointing against Orlando and against Philly that I just don't think that we're going to see that consistently. But what we need from Bridges offensively is consistency, 15 to 20 points a game. We don't need 31. We need 15 to 20. And at the moment, we're not getting that every game. And that's where Bridges needs to bring himself up to.
The reason we don't shine so much light on the little down moments of Mikal Bridges is that even when he's putting up 9 points in 3 quarters and then he gets hot in garbage time or whatever, but even when he's doing that, he's still got like he'll have fucking 4 steals, or he will contribute somewhere, and he won't go completely missing. He'll contribute somewhere to the grand scheme.
Yeah, well, he didn't contribute in either Orlando or Philly.
I'm gonna politely say this, but I think that's somewhat bullshit. We wind up giving Mikal Bridges the benefit of the doubt because he was taken 10th and not first. And that's
Correct.
The difference between him and DA. You get more slack when you were taken later and you have off games like this than when you're the number 1 pick. If those were flop, everybody would just be on Mikal constantly, and DA would be like, "Oh wow, this is one of the better centers we've had. He's 16 and 7. That ain't bad. I like
That's
that.
good. That's good.
You're right.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And DA's always going to cop shit from this fan base because he was picked first, and because we didn't pick Luka. So he is always going to cop shit. But in saying that, I've heard it on a number of pods, and I still believe it. If Luka was in Phoenix right now, Devin Booker wouldn't be.
Agree. They wouldn't have fit together.
No.
They just wouldn't have. You would have put 2 alphas like that play similar positions that need the ball in your hand all the time. I don't think Devin would have even developed the way we've seen him develop if they did stay. It would have messed a lot of shit up, and people don't want to admit that. As much as DA isn't him right now, I don't think Luka would have been this great thing. Like, I'm sorry, but Luka still hasn't made it to the finals. Devin and DA have, and Mikal have. Like, I get it that Luka, from the eye test and the stats, is a superstar, but he still hasn't accomplished what everybody here wants either. So,
and that is, I think, the biggest point out of all of it. Luka isn't a winner. He just hasn't won yet.
No,
he can go out and he can go out and average 35, 9 and 12 and do whatever he wants. But reality is, if he's not advancing and getting to where he needs to get the team to go to, who's the pre-Luka, who was the biggest empty stat player?
Some would argue Devin, but
but Devin went to he won a Western Conference Finals and went to the NBA Finals. There's been others.
I mean, the Steve Francis of the world, if you want to go back in the day. I mean,
Monte Ellis.
Some could argue Russell Westbrook was very much was that kind of guy. Like, look, Luka, it wouldn't shock me if Luka's going to be happier this year, having a higher point total, better stats, even if they lose in the first round, just because that looks better for him stat wise. Like, he seems like the kind of guy that's happy when he plays, when his stats look good, right? And that the ball's always in his hands. So as the chat keeps saying, yes, Luka's still a hoe. We know that. Yeah. So.
And look, he undoubtedly in that draft selection process, whatever, he was number 1. But if he was in Phoenix right now, Devin wouldn't be. And he just was not the right pick for how we were trying to build the Phoenix franchise. So
Can we stop talking about this fuckwit?
Yeah. Fuck, I hate that prick.
Anyway. All right. Okay. Next one. Let's get a little bit spicy, even though we just apparently did about Luca. Suns fans, after we lose a game, how is Arizona still standing? Because watching Suns Twitter, I'm pretty sure that the entire joint should have been burnt to the ground after we lose a game.
Yeah, I'll say this, and when I say it, myself is included. We as Suns fans after a loss are a bunch of whiny bitches. Like, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's like everything. It's so funny to me too, because we should feel pretty damn experienced with this after the last decade before this. Like, that was all we knew is losses. So like, we should be okay with it by now. But no, like, it's amazing how it turned 180 degrees, and now it's like, if we don't win every game, like, all hell breaks loose. And everybody this offseason was like, hey, we're okay with some losses in the regular season. It's fine. And the guys get rest. And the second you lose a game, it's like, oh my God, the whole thing, throw it out. And and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not part of that as well. But it is. We whine a lot, that's for sure. So.
And it turned at the bubble.
Yes.
We went 8-0 at the bubble. We all of a sudden became a championship contender. As you said, we should be used to losing, but all of a sudden we got spoiled by winning. And perfect example, over the offseason we went, we don't need to win 64 games. Let's just make the playoffs, and when we're in the playoffs, we need to win then. And now we've lost to Philly and Orlando, and we need to burn Arizona to the ground. Nate?
I don't get on Twitter for this very fucking reason. I mean, I've got a Twitter handle there, and as we say every time we do a pod, throw shit at me because I'm not going to see it. All I do is watch you and Boyd blow up, at this shit, and I get my own amusement that way.
Boyd?
Oh man. Just quietly. I fucking hate so many cunts on Twitter, eh? I can't fucking stand. I can't stand it, man. And I just haven't got the fucking time, man. I've got too many kids. I've got fucking work to do. I've got lots of basketball games to watch. And,
how many kids have you got now? 12?
Yeah, feels like 7 now, but it's 5 still.
Out.
Yeah, no, and look, and it's the same on Facebook, man. These fucks get on there and they just have, it's like they don't have a fucking anything to do with their time. I mean,
I will say, Facebook is way worse than Twitter.
Yeah, I know, but that's more about some prick stealing my mail type thing, and then it's a big fucking debate on, well, maybe you should move your mailbox or something like that. But no, but Twitter is just fucking. It's if I could go all day on the amount of cocks on Twitter and Sun's Twitter who just fucking who pissed me off. But look, no, it is what it is. It's good for the majority of whingers out there. But yeah, I've been trying to steer
every week we joke about floating a segment who blocked Boyd. Based on this week, is there anything to report?
No, I thought Tim Tompkins blocked me because I was trying to look up some old shit from back when he was banging around with ESPO, and I jumped in our chat and I said, "Hey, boys, is Timmy Tompkins still on Twitter?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" I thought he blocked me, but no.
I'm pretty sure Timmy stole his Twitter.
He must be out of it. But yeah, no.
That's your first response, though. Did someone block me? Because I can't find him.
I had to unblock you before I came on. I'm just. I figured you guys just thought I was one of those assholes on Twitter, so I was very, very amused when I got the invite. So.
No,
you are benefit of the doubt, buddy.
you are not one of those assholes on Twitter. Boyd is. And worst thing is, I think he's frozen, and that is the stupidest looking face you have ever seen in your life. Oh no, he's back. That's unfortunate.
All right, what else you got for us, Kev?
Okay, recency bias. Now, I hear you guys, ESPO, on PHNX talk about recency bias pretty much every episode, really. When it comes to the current trade situation, so we see today Jay Crowder. There's a lot of rumors out there today. Jay Crowder to Miami, Max Strus coming back the other way, blah, blah. Do we as Suns fans, we as Suns podcasters, even though we're not allowed to because Locked On Warriors or Locked On Dubs, apologies, we're only fans. We shouldn't be talking about anything to do with basketball. Do we just get so excited about recency bias and in the context of trades? So we lost a game. Everybody jumps on and goes, we need to trade everybody for SGA.
Yeah, I mean, but that's human nature, right? I mean, I don't think that's anything that doesn't happen in a lot of walks of life, where something goes rough in your life and you're like, man, I'm going to go buy X, Y, or Z because I'm trying to fill this hole that nothing I purchase is going to fill, but I'm going to do it anyways. I feel like it's kind of like that for basketball fans. Oh, we lost. I need to fill this this bad feeling I have with the trade machine, But look, when it comes to the Suns, we all know they need to make at least one deal here. We've been talking about it since the offseason. So I think every time there's a loss, it's like, oh, yeah, we got to deal Jay. What can we get to help fill some of these issues that we have? So, some of it's pie in the sky. Look, I think we all would love for a superstar to just fall out of the sky for Jay Crowder, a pick, and Dario Saric. But I don't think that's where you're going to get. I think something with the Miami stuff is more around around the fringes that you're going to get. But I think it's human nature to just after a loss or if they get jumped in the standings later in the season, that it's, we got to add something. We got to add something because it's always the shiny new,
So you don't think by I think it's January when DA's up and you don't think that the superstar trade is in the mix at all? Like the SGA Durant kind of trade?
SGA maybe. Like everybody, what drove me nuts about the Durant talk was everybody thought you were going to get Kevin Durant on the cheap. It's like, we're not going to have to trade Cam Johnson. We're not going to have to trade Mikal Bridges. They don't want DA. So here we go. You can have Landry Shamet. You can have, Dario Saric. And we got 3 second rounders that you might like. And then they're like, get it done, James Jones.
And the worst ones, the ones that frustrate me the most about that are the ones where salaries don't match at all.
Yes.
We're going to trade Jay Crowder and 3 first-round picks, and we're going to get Kevin Durant. Jay Crowder's on $10 million, and Kevin Durant's on $40 million. How's that going to work?
Yeah. No, nobody worries about that. It's just, this would sound good. Everything's fantasy basketball at that point. Now, I think SGA may be more in the ballpark, but it's going to take him forcing the issue in OKC, and then I don't know that the Suns will have the best offer because there's a lot of teams that have 6, 7 picks that they've stored up from other moves they made. The Suns have 4 that they can trade and some expiring contracts. So then it's
do they
all
need
about,
any more picks?
And well, he wants.
Don't they still have a library of picks?
He wants all of them.
He wants all of them.
Sam Presti's kink is draft picks. All right, he likes them young.
and reality is that when you look at that, it's SGA. We all know. I'm assuming everyone's seen that SGA. The news on SGA has started to leak out. He's not happy with the direction of where OKC are going. Blah blah blah. We all knew it was going to happen eventually, but it does open the door. Now, Suns fans, I've got real bad news for you. We jump up and down about us winning games and lose our fucking shit when we lose. But if we keep winning, our draft picks are going to be shit. That makes it a hell of a lot harder to trade 4 first rounders for SGA when SGA comes in and our first rounders are pick 30.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. It's the perceived value of those picks. I mean, you're right. If Sam Presti looks at it and goes, well, this team's going to be good for X amount of years, but the Knicks are willing to give me everything that isn't nailed down over there, yeah, I'm going to go for that because the Knicks are going to screw this shit up no matter what. So,
lads, thoughts? Do you? Well, let's go. I'm gonna sidetrack here. Do you think the big trade's going to happen before trade deadline? Is the big trade going to happen? Are the Phoenix Suns out there hunting SGA or Kevin Durant before the deadline, or are we going to end up with a trade for Jay Crowder for Max Strus?
I think the word hunting is probably the wrong word. The word entertaining is probably absolute. You've got to entertain everything, especially if DA keeps this trajectory. I don't want to waste any more energy on the trade discussions, to be honest. That off season was just tiring and went nowhere. So to think that we're going to do that again for the first half of the season, I just got to.
We're already doing that, mate. Some Twitter's already doing that.
Yeah, but I'm not on there. I'm on there, but I don't do anything on there. So I get a reprieve. I get to wake up feeling good about myself.
Must be nice. What is that like?
Yeah, unfortunately, ESPO has to study that shit for the daily shows.
Yeah. Why I'm going gray.
Boy,
hey, Monty's making it cool again. All right.
Oh, look, I don't think it has to be a mega superstar or anything like that. As long as something's done before trade deadline, I'm trying not to invest. I'm similar to Nate. I'm just trying not to invest too much into it. I think it's all. I think we've got some good expirings there that are very movable. I don't think James Jones is going to sit on all this. I don't think we have to worry that something's not going to get done. I think it's the longer it takes, it probably means that we're waiting on a better return. So yeah, look, I'm trying not to fucking get too upset about an Orlando and Blazers loss, and then cash in for fucking, a fucking Ish Smith or fucking something like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to. No, fuck no. Please no. But look, I'm glad there's no sort of knee-jerk reactions happening, and we are sort of holding out for the right thing. It's just every day that passes, it makes me feel like we're, better situated. So yeah, look, I'm not too fussed, man.
All right. So with all of this chat, right, the other thing that came out in the last 24 hours that we've seen, there's a GM in the NBA that believes that the Phoenix Suns are the ultimate destination for LeBron James because the Lakers suck. Does anyone believe? Well, let's be honest. It is firing up, right? There is talk about LeBron. There is talk about AD. They are starting to talk about whether or not they blow the Lakers up. Is LeBron a realistic chance in Phoenix, Espo?
I have thought that. So the original, when we heard rumblings of a superstar wanting to be here, there was two names. The second name never came out. I am still a staunch believer that was LeBron James, and if he had actually pushed to get out, he would have been in Phoenix. I think this offseason, there's a chance, especially his relationship with James Jones. There's no denying how close they are. It's close to LA, so he could still handle his business, keep his family there, just like CP3 has done there. I've always felt like they may be on a collision course for that. I don't know that I don't think it's the best move, but I've always felt like that may be the inevitable move that could happen here.
No.
Makes me sick to think about it. I can't stand LeBron in any shape, way, or form. I just don't like him. I don't want him on the team. I mean, I might, even if it results in wins, I'm just like cringing listening to ESPO because he's right. Yeah. He's right. I don't want to think about it. Denial is such a beautiful thing.
Well, put this. Hold on. Let me just say, put this in your mind too. Imagine if it was DA is the guy that you have to trade to get him too, and then DA goes on to be the next great Lakers center. That shit keeps me up
The
at
next
night
Shaq.
too.
The next Shaq.
That,
Boyd,
that does make
Oh,
me laugh.
mate, look, yeah, look, fuck, LeBron's never been traded, man. He's just, and he's a guy everyone talks about as he's not, but the GOAT. I mean, you think if you think the KD package had to be something monumental, you would think that the fucking LeBron package would have to be something massive as well. And I just sort of cringe at that. But in saying that, if we could do it, Gav, with a few seconds, and there was someone forcing their way, hey, and some expiring contract, you know,
good fucking luck.
yeah. So that's pie in the sky stuff. But ultimately, man, I think if he came on board, it'd take me a couple of weeks, and I'd have the pom poms out because first and foremost, it makes me like I'm feeling sick in my stomach right now talking about it. But first and foremost, I'm a Suns fan, and whoever dons the jersey gets my gets my fucking hurrahs. So yeah, look, I'd get behind it. I just, future years, like if he retires in like, a year and a half, 2 years or whatever, and then all these players that we've fucked off go and become, all-stars and are winning championships, then I'd have some real deep-seated depression come up and fuck up my life. But anyway, yeah.
I
I
think
also
there's
don't
one
want to be
move
put in a
that-
position where we draft Bronny. Yeah.
Oh, please no. Well, hopefully we've traded all our picks to LA at that point, so we couldn't make it happen. But the one thing, I think the Lakers have one last ditch move this year that I think eventually happens. I think they trade Russell Westbrook for Kyrie. I think that's a move that they're going to make in hopes that they can salvage whatever the hell's going on this year and try to keep LeBron focused on LA. I think if that happens, there's maybe this whole thing, we can avoid it just because of that shit. But I don't know. It's just always been in the back of my mind of this is a collision course. Eventually it'll happen.
Can you just imagine like KD sitting there in Brooklyn going, fuck no, please don't do it. And then Russell's on his way out of LA going, oh, this guy again. He's literally been traded to every team that his teammates went to.
Yep.
Okay, so at the risk of upsetting the viewership that's in the chat right now, and sending everyone home, and also upsetting everyone in here, LeBron's the perfect fit for the Phoenix Suns right now.
If you don't have to give anything up for him, and if he had a different personality.
LeBron James comes in, and I'm going to quote Espo here. I would sell my soul to win a championship. And if LeBron James comes to Phoenix, we're winning a championship. Everyone thought the same of KD. It would be exactly the same with LeBron. Now, the big thing is LeBron is more than willing and more than capable of adjusting the way he plays to ensure that the people around him will succeed. And if he came to Phoenix, he'd do that. I believe that 100%. LeBron wants another championship before he goes out. Maybe another 2. But
very good, Gavin.
Everybody
love
is
LeBron.
carrying on.
Let's
Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Everybody's carrying on about the fact that we don't have a power forward. That's our biggest gap. That's where we suck. Blah, blah. You're going to bring in the greatest power forward of this era and put him in it.
All right. Okay. Move on, man. I'm fucking over talking about. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Boyd. I got you back on this one.
Just fucking get off LeBron.
So just for this, just one more for this. Richie, a LeBron championship counts just as fucking much as anything else counts. Do you want to know why? Because we win a fucking title.
Yeah. When you're thirsty, you can't be choosing, what you're getting there. You just got to accept whatever comes your way. All right.
I'm winning a title. That's all I care about. But before Boyd shaves more of his head, and I'm not sure whether or not that was him crying or his baby in the background. We'll move on to the next part. Questions for ESPO. So,
All right.
we do this with all of our special guests, ESPO. I'm going to start off, then we'll throw it out. Guys in the chat, hold off a couple of minutes, then throw your questions out. But number one question, the top 3 Suns podcasts, not including your own.
Aussie Suns fans,
Well
fanning
done.
the Flames. The timeline. And most people will be surprised that I
We've got to
actually
mix
said
with the
that.
timeline. Yeah, we've got to mix. Some people love it, some people hate it. Our guest last week put the timeline firmly at the top of his bottom 3.
Yeah, look. I obviously am not the biggest analytics and let's break down plays guy. I mean, that's it's just not my taste. But I know there are a lot of people that appreciate the work those guys do, so I'll throw it there.
Love it. What's your bottom 3?
Aussie Suns fans, fanning the Flames, and the timeline. No, I don't know.
Come on, Espo, throw some shade. There's got to be something there that you laugh at.
I'm not on it anymore, and anytime anybody loses me, just ask my ex-girlfriends. Things aren't as good. So I guess I'll put Dave there. Dave, I love you, man. I'm just doing it for the listeners here. So
that's one. You got 2 more, mate.
Sunny in Phoenix. I'll put that one down for you.
Yeah, you can go with that one.
Is it still a podcast if you only record once a year?
7 seconds or less. That was never my favorite.
Very good inclusion.
That's risen up everybody's bottom 3 list since last season's pods.
Yeah,
good.
The good old 7 seconds or less. We're not allowed to put faces on podcasts and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, no, fair call. Boyd, have you got a question for Espo?
I do. When I found out I was going to be able to ask one of the most prominent social media Suns identities some questions, I got really excited and I made a little list here. I started jotting some shit down. And the first thing was, Espo, how much do you make a year?
Not enough.
And then I thought, no, hang on.
You told me not to ask some shit. You leave with what's your salary?
Yeah, no, I crossed it out. So I don't expect you to answer that one. The solar panel divorce. Do you hate David King?
Oh no, I love Dave. I mean, I spent 5 years with Dave. Like, let me set the record straight on this because a lot of people think Saul is the one that broke up the solar panel too, and it wasn't. It wasn't Saul. Saul and I happened to get offered a chance to do this for a living. Right? I was in purgatory doing corporate marketing after I left the Suns because I wanted to let my wife stay at home and be with our child. So I went and took the money. Right? So when I got offered a chance to do this again, I decided I'm going to do it. And they happen to want Saul to be our GM. And we needed a Suns writer, but I knew the money that I had to offer wasn't anywhere near what Dave was making in his actual career, plus the money he was making with Brightside. And I wasn't going to insult the guy. Like, hey, can you take like a 90% pay cut to come stick around doing this? So that was the whole thing with it. So,
so what you're saying is that you offered Gerald shit money.
Yes, Gerald knows that. No, but Dave's got government money for his government job. So you don't touch government money in sports media. Let's make that clear.
You don't touch government money in any country in any world.
Exactly.
Well, no, look, I honestly, my tinfoil hat, I know you get yours out every now and then, Espo. So when Bookman first came in to the solar panel, and Timmy left, I thought, who the fuck's Saul Bookman, and why is he fucking bumping in and knocking? He's fucked off this guy. Like, I'm thinking Saul Bookman, some sort of fucking like gangster Potter or something like that, and he's just come in and he's fucking nudged him out, and then he's got a taste for it, and then he's just said, "All right, Dave, time to fuck off," and I'm taking ESPO with me, and we're going to start this fucking.
You nailed it. I was lying the whole last 5 minutes. You just nailed it. I wondered who the fuck is this Bookman guy too when he first started, but it turned out all right.
No. Okay. So yeah, that's the first one out there. You've said you're the best podcaster ever, the GOAT, and I think you're not. I think Justin.
Did I?
When did he say that?
On Twitter, you touted yourself as the GOAT of Sons podcast.
Did I?
Yeah,
If I did, it totally was not serious. But all right, I'll own it. I'll wear it.
Anyway, I just want to tell you that Justin is the OG Sons podcast. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Justin, Jay is my lawyer. Like, I ride or die with Justin.
I was actually going to say.
So if he wants around, he can have it.
I was actually going to say at the start of this, Espo, do you want us to bring your lawyer in? We can probably, he's in the chat. We can probably bring him in before you answer anything.
He did.
And now,
he did tell me to move on during that last question. I should have listened to my lawyer. But...
Hey, one more. I had.
Before you move on, Boyd, you sent me a video, an audio recording warning me not to ask questions that might offend Espo, specifically one. And
Let me
just
make-
led with that shit.
Let me make this clear. I don't get offended, so ask whatever the hell you want. I don't have to answer, but you can ask whatever the hell you want.
And that's the point. You don't have to answer.
That was a bit different. Anyway, and but last one is that one of your stories from your time at the Suns. Fucking which one of the Morrises dropped the fucking shoulder on you and was being like a tough guy?
Markeith came. I was walking.
Really?
Yeah, I was walking out the tunnel to get to the court. He was walking from the court from his pregame shooting. I had looked down, looked back up. He drops his shoulder into me and knocks me over, sends my phone flying, laughs, and keeps walking to the locker room.
You're kidding.
Nope.
How fucked is that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear. I've never heard that story. So that's why you don't like tomorrow.
Well, among many other reasons, but yes. It was his sense of humor, too. He thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's shit.
Hey, so my question around that was, did anyone else see it? And did people just turn a blind eye because he's fucking one of the Morai? How did the atmosphere around that moment? Was it you getting up and everyone just sort of like looking away and like, fuck it, we didn't see anything sort of thing?
I think there may have been like one other person in the tunnel, but it would have been real low level kind of, not low level as in human being. I just mean on the food chain of Suns employees.
Well, we've all read the report, mate. Everybody was low level.
I didn't go to HR because I knew nothing would happen based on what you all saw in the report.
If there's not many people around in that sort of circumstance, you'd be feeling like it's almost personal, wouldn't you? If it's more of a one-on-one thing, it's be like there's no one there to impress or fucking high five. Yeah, I got that guy type thing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What led to it? Like, did you tweet about his kids or something?
No, that is literally was his sense of humor. Like he just.
I would have dropped him.
Yeah,
he's a dick. He's a
dick.
dick.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, he was a jerk. I mean, so I was. Whatever, like if that made him feel like a bigger man, that's good on him. That's your own shit. I didn't bother me that much.
6'9", dropping a shoulder on Espo. What are you, 5'8", 7"?
At the time, I was 5'8.5", and I probably weighed $170 at that point. I was skinny Espo back then, so I didn't get hurt. Nothing was a big deal. So it was like,
but it was just a shit cheap shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No.
To be honest, I hate him even more now.
yeah.
Nate, question.
Oh yeah, I got a couple. I've probably got 3 or 4 now that that Boyd spoke. I can ask a couple more. No, look. According to your PHNX bio, and pretty much anyone that's sort of listened to you, you've been described as an unconventional or non-conventional content creator. Do you have an OnlyFans account?
I considered it, but my feet are way too hairy to make any money. So
okay, that was actually the OnlyFans part was sort of a joke. But
can I? I actually want us to start OnlyFans with a PH instead of an F, and then where it's content that only our subscribers get to see of the PHNX Sun Show, where maybe I give more of these stories from behind the scenes or something, just to have a little fun with it. So maybe there will be one with a PH sometime in the
that's
future.
been patented right here on our show.
I love that. Yeah,
and will you be telling them stories in like your fucking dick stickers or your fucking
whatever it gets the money coming in, you know? I'm not against nudity if it makes the money. All right. So
good.
everybody else will be, but I won't be. You know, like, nobody wants to see this, but
I'm in. You got me.
you have your first subscriber.
Dick stickers aside, I was actually going somewhere with that question.
Dick stickers, Jesus Christ.
You said before that you're part of the media group that used to make that shit up to make it sound cool. So looking through the titles of your articles, they all kind of range from trending to emotional to clickbait. How do you actually come up with your titles for your articles?
Depends on what it is. Like if it's me just being sarcastic, I'm like, what's going to get in the most clicks? You know, like I hate to admit it, but that's part of the business, right? So sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes it is literally, look, I've grown up a fan of this team. This is personal. What will connect with other people, right? So what will Suns fans understand? Like they'll go, okay, he's one of us, and I'm interested in this. So, you know, it's some combination of that, you know, and sometimes it's, oh shit, I need a title for this because it's got to go up. So this will fucking work. You know, that's kind of the gamut of it, to be honest.
All right. I do have one more that has been approved. Thank you.
I want the unapproved ones. So
I might actually throw it out there. We'll see. The fuck Jay Crowder shirt that made famous at the post-game interview last season. Would you wear one now?
Oh,
and feel free to use all the language to describe why you'd wear it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've said it multiple times on the show. I mean, little did we know New Orleans was 1,000% right. We should just start chanting that randomly at the arena now, you know, just to make it very clear. Thanks for nothing, Jay. So yeah, I'd have no problem with it. I mean, where's the ones you didn't get approved? Let's come on.
Well, I'll give you. I'll
do
put
it.
to you
Do
more
it.
as a,
Just do it. He wants the unapproved question.
I'll put it to
out.
you more as a statement that you don't, rather than a please comment and give you feedback. But I was looking at things to try and throw at you to get a laugh, and I typed in embarrassing Greg Esposito AZ sports moments into Google, and started looking at the things that came up. At about eight Google results down the page, it came up with list of gay characters in television.
That's not one of the most embarrassing things I've done. So, did you get into any of the Reddit threads about me? Those are special. Those are next level special. I'll just tell you that.
Oh, give us something. Give us something that to this day you go, you know what?
We got some Google work to do after this then.
Let me. I'll do it right here live on here. I'll read you some of the fun ones. Here's one. Sun subreddit. ESPO is about as funny as a school shooting. ESPO has zero journalistic integrity and is pandering. ESPO Here's one. What is the deal with Greg Esposito? That was one of the early ones. Like I had some mental issue that they wanted to know about. Espo is going to hang it up. I'm going to miss him more than Carlton doing the Carlton dance, making fun of my 90s references. And then, here's a nice one. Shout out to Espo and Dave King for trashing Nate Duncan. So there you go.
None of this is going to match. Espo is as funny as a school shooting.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yep, you wrote that down.
That's vicious.
You just Google Espo Suns Reddit, and that's like the first thing that comes up. So,
All right,
chat. Throw us any questions you have for Espo. We do have the first one, so we'll throw this one out there. Espo, how can the Aussie Suns fans podcast improve?
More babies. I need more. I need each of you holding an infant every episode.
While we're swearing. I
can supply a few for you guys. Mate,
just
I'll
post
send
one
one
to
over to
Singapore for
mate.
me.
You fucking have it. You can keep it.
I assumed Boyd just had a different baby each time too. I didn't think it was the same one. I just thought he was really active.
He's got him on rotation. He is active.
All right, Espo, when are you coming to Australia? Has the Phoenix Suns podcast, the PHNX Suns podcast, we're talking about it.
We really want to come out there this summer. So we're working on it. We're working on a few things to do that and potentially even involve an Aussie that's on the current Suns roster as well. So
that'd be amazing.
Jokic.
And we all know that our favorite barbecue supplier out here is going to hook you guys up with a afternoon free barbecue. Enjoying Ash Shaw, he looks after us. He's going to hook you guys up with the barbecue.
Saul is very, very excited about that. So
all the smoke barbecue, come and get it.
So you're going to base it around this guy?
That's a knife. Crocodile Dundee.
Yes, see, I was afraid to use that nickname because it came to my mind the second we signed him, but I was like, I didn't want to offend any of my Aussie friends. But since you guys approve it, I may work that into the rotation.
Get it in. We're okay with it. Crocodile Dundee. That's what it's all about, right there.
Perfect.
We'll know that we've all done our work when it gets called in an actual broadcast.
Yep. So Ash Shaw at All the Smoke Barbecue. If you are watching, listening, doing whatever, check him out on Instagram. They're going to hook the PHNX crew up when they come out and enjoy or give them a chance to enjoy some real Aussie barbecue when you finally do get out here.
I'm looking forward to it. Our second largest listener base, it's U.S. and then it's Australia. You guys come strong when it comes to
what we do.
Comes to the show. So
I do need to weigh in with another little question before we move on too much.
All right. Well, I
told you I was fanboying at the start of the pod. When we caught up with Saul, when you got the COVID, Saul was a very good man and FaceTimed Lindsay for me. Are you going to FaceTime Lindsay for me?
Right now?
Not now.
Oh, I was gonna say because it's like 10 p.m. here. She's been asleep for 5 hours already. So yeah, when we meet, I'll face. You know what? If you guys come back out here or when we're out there, I'll bring Lindsay to you.
Yeah,
you don't have not just FaceTime. I'll get her to come out. I've got that much pull compared to Saul. So.
You shouldn't have used that. You shouldn't have used that statement on an Australian Suns fan podcast. I've got that much pull.
Yeah. Poor Lindsay. She's going to be worried about this.
What brand are your Phoenix color PHX colored glasses?
So they're actually called Pair Eyewear, PAIR eyewear.com, and you can get them there. I love them. It's fun. These are actually without the colored topper on them. They're the same glasses. So I have fun with them. I like them. So my lawyer's telling me to be careful here, Justin. I don't know the meaning. All right, I do not know the meaning.
Don't listen to him. This is the most important question. ESPO, can you get Jock Landale on our show?
Okay, if what I'm trying to put together happens, or what we're trying to put together happens with Jock, I will do my best to try to get him here.
Love it.
I'll if I get a chance this week, I'll DM him. We were DMing after he called me a clown because he was telling me the same thing you guys said on the show. And he's
clown is Australian wise, clown is not offensive.
Yeah, he's like, can I not use dry humor with you? I was like, no, I found it hilarious. It was the rest of the internet that lost their shit over it. I didn't care, you know. But yeah, if I get a chance, I'll DM him. But we're working on something, and if it happens, we'll find a way to do kind of a cross thing with him,
Love it.
you guys, and maybe us at PHNX. So
yeah, well, he probably won't because Boyd's just hunks that much shit on him.
Yeah, I've dug a hole.
What was the craziest Suns trade you heard of, even if it gained no traction?
Well, okay, so before I was with the team, when I got to the team, one of the people there told me T-Mac was basically minutes away from being a Sun during his prime, and that one fell through at the last minute. Kevin Garnett was close. That one's been reported before. And then the craziest trade deadline was it had to be the year that they traded a third of their roster. That was the year they traded Isaiah Thomas, Goran Dragic, Miles Plumlee, like literally a third of the roster. And we found out 2 minutes before the deadline. And when you work for a team, when that happens, you have to go through the entire website and scrap everything that involves that player. So we spent 2 hours going through the website, trying to scrape everything clean, making sure there was no references, trying to find out what we were getting in return, how we could add those guys in. It was insanity. So that one was probably the craziest I was involved in. I'll give you one other one. I haven't told this one on PHNX Sun, so I'll probably get an earful that I give it to you guys first before I do it there, but to hell with it. The year that Markieff Morris got traded, it was the same year Earl Watson came in. I'm sitting in a meeting with a bunch of our executives and our PR team 10 minutes before the deadline, and they said, front office told us that Markieff isn't being traded. We need to spin it like Markieff is a part of the future, that he's reformed, that he's because if you remember, Earl Watson had gotten him back in the lineup after he sat for like 6 weeks and didn't play. So they're like, you got to bullshit the people that he's part of the future. That's why we didn't trade him and we believe in him, yada, yada. 3 minutes into that conversation, I get an Adrian Wojnarowski alert that says, Markieff Morris has been traded to the Wizards, and I go in the media and I'm like, we don't have to worry about this anymore. Not a problem anymore. And everybody was very excited. So.
How that actually happened is after the Markieff dropping the shoulder thing, ESPO actually arose from his seat and he said, no, we're fucking trading him to Washington, and it's happening in the next couple of minutes. I'm on the phone to Woj right now.
Because you've got that much pull.
That's how it actually happened. That's how much pull.
I actually requested a trade myself at that point. They just didn't honor it. So.
Last question for you. And I did miss this. This was one of my questions. Are you ever going to Minnesota after Saul's comment?
I am. I don't know that he should show up there.
I missed that one. I missed it.
And we did change the name of the episode to Pull the Ripcord for your comments afterwards. That was one of the biggest mic drop moments of this season of the PHNX Suns podcast.
Lindsay couldn't breathe. That's why I was just like, all right, I'm getting us out of here. I'm done. This was insane. Let's get out. And that's what happened.
Boyd looks confused. Do you want to explain what happened?
Do I? Can I repeat that? I said to the group, it was after the Minnesota game, and I said to the group, because we were talking about Devin Booker talking shit to the bench, the Minnesota bench, and that the Minnesota reporter who tweeted it, all the comments from Minnesota fans were super polite about Devin talking crap to their team, like the polar opposite of what we see on Suns Twitter, right? They were like, "Oh, that I understand. He's not wrong." Like all these nice things. So I said, "Well, you know what? It's in Minnesota people's DNA to be super nice because it's what they're known for. It's the gee golly kind of attitude." And so it goes, "Yeah, unless you're cops." And record scratch. Daryl and I are looking at each other like, I don't know how to respond to that. Lindsay just loses her shit, and I just say, "Hey, it's time to leave." Good night, everybody.
I believe verbatim was, remember when Saul says things like this, pull the ripcord and you're checked out.
Yep.
Doesn't Gerald's missus come from fucking Minnesota?
Even more awkward. Yeah.
Wait, Gerald would have just been like, zip.
He literally was speechless. He was just staring at me. So
that is magnificent. Boyd, I believe you are supposed to have one more question.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
All right. I'll do it then. ESPO, last question.
Mm-hmm.
The PHNX crew, there's 4 of you on there. Take yourself out. You got to marry one, you got to root one, and you got to kill one.
Root one, shoot one, marry one.
Gerald seems like he'd be a gentle lover. So I think Gerald there. I think, I'd wind up marrying Lindsay because she reminds me of my mother. So that's probably how that would happen. And Saul's obviously the kill.
Yeah, he's the kill. Yeah. All right.
I forgot all about that. Sorry, mate. No, very well handled there, Espo. You could have got yourself in a lot of shit with Mrs. Esposito, but you didn't. You found your feet and you knocked that one out of the park. Well done.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Gerald would be her answer too, so I think she's all right with it.
Espo, hold on.
Mary
Root kill Justin Paul Dan.
It'd probably be a hate fuck with Justin, marry Paul, and I'm sorry, Dan. You just happen to be the only one left, but Paul would be the spouse that everybody would want. So
that is true. Fantastic answer. We always allow the opportunity for our US guests to ask questions of us.
Fine.
Anything Australia-wide, go.
What's the thing that annoys you most about us here in the States?
Nate?
I might actually throw to you, Gav, because it's the reason that you started this group 7 years ago, right? The carry-on and the bullshit. It's like,
so,
please take over, Gav.
From a Suns fan's perspective, the fucking whinging about everything. We lose a game, and like I said, Arizona needs to be burnt to the ground.
For many reasons.
Crazy. It drives me insane. There is 82 games in a season. Why the fuck are we burning the place to the ground over one game? That's what upsets me the most.
What else? My daughter would want to know this. Are koalas like everywhere in Australia, or is there just certain areas that koalas are? She's obsessed with them. So
wherever there's bush.
Bush. Yeah, they're basically everywhere. They are. But the important thing to remember is koalas sleep 23 hours a day.
Yeah.
So we really don't see them. They're not running across the street everywhere, although most of our major streets have signs that say beware of koalas in heavily populated koala areas.
Bro, and rightly so. I ran over one. One was crossing the street and I fucking ran over it in my old EA Falcon. This is
Well,
going back
the
50
worst
years.
thing the worst thing about that story was you didn't need to stop and back over it again.
I will not tell my daughter this part, but the other part. Thank you for enlightening me, gentlemen. Biggest spider you've ever seen out there? Because I heard those fuckers can get pretty large.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
Probably a huntsman for me.
Yeah, I gotta say it's the Huntsmans.
I saw a huntsman probably the size of
Bigger than your head.
fuck. Yeah, bigger than my fucking head. He would have wrapped his legs around my ears. It was
All right.
that
Well,
big.
I'm reconsidering that trip out during your winter.
But that was the
But
biggest one.
in saying that,
poisonous.
Espo, Huntsman, completely harmless.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
no,
that's
they're
good
nice.
then.
They're nice.
That's
Yeah, it's
good.
the small ones you got to worry about.
You actually, yeah, and that is spot on. When it comes to spiders in Australia, it's the little ones that are venomous. The big ones, they're good as
Yeah,
gold.
they're
You
cool.
leave them in the house, they eat the flies and the bugs. And
And I kill them
just-
still.
They're good.
Yeah.
Bro, my toddlers and kids, if there's a creepy crawly that walks or fucking is visible to them, I have to kill it. And I fucking I spend a lot of my time chasing creepy crawlers around the house. So yeah, no, you kill them all the same.
So, all right.
As Ash says, a small dinner plate is basically the biggest spider you'll see out here. The really big ones live in the desert.
Makes sense. All right. Which one of you hated me the most on Twitter at one point? I get a lot
Oh,
of
it's gotta
hate.
be Boyd.
You?
Yeah, the big boy.
That's
You
fine.
get nothing but love from
And
me.
And it wasn't a real hate, Espo. So when I first got on Twitter and I knew nothing about podcasts and who actually were the personalities, I saw a lot of you on there. And when I started listening to podcasts, your fucking voice was so whiny and annoying.
Actually, we do have one podcast where Boyd says exactly that.
Yeah,
And I think we're on with Justin.
I thought to myself, fuck, who is this fucking Espo Seto fucker? And he's just, and because you got this, and I thought it was like a Brooklyn, like a gangster.
He actually called you
everyone
a mafia.
in America.
He goes, is he from the mafia?
A mafia
About
thing,
right.
yeah.
I don't
And,
disagree with you.
And it was just really, really annoying. But it probably only took me about 3 months, and your voice didn't get it. It wasn't annoying anymore. So it's drilled into me, man. Mate. And
It only took 3 months.
and I absolutely love you now. I love you. I'm a big, big fan.
I've lived with it for 38 years and I still fucking hate it. So
That's all right. Like we keep hearing from guys over there that the Aussie accent, we love it. Like we'll jump on, we love it. It's great. Honestly, I came over. I was there for 9 weeks with the family, and when I got back on the plane and heard Australians speaking, it was the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life.
I love it. You guys can insult me and it just sounds like music. By the way, what should I worry about if Jock calls me this? I should be worried that I've actually pissed him off.
We got 39 minutes
dog.
in.
A dog.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to get called a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Because out here, everybody would be like, "Oh, now he thinks you're bros. He called you a dog." Like, yeah. So
No,
good to
you get
know.
called a dog,
No.
you're fucking.
Yeah. Out here, if you get called
It's
a
not-
dog,
It's not
It's
DAWG. It's just DOG.
DOG.
All right.
Dog.
So clown good, dog bad. Got it.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. All right. I think I'm good. I think you guys have answered all my
Awesome.
questions. So.
All right, so Sonia has thrown a question at us, and because we have the guys on, we may as well answer them. How did y'all Aussies meet? Basically, Sonia, what we did was we, as a Phoenix Suns fan in Australia, I didn't believe that we had any other Phoenix Suns fans in Australia because majority of Suns fans majority of basketball fans over here followed Chicago, Boston, or the Lakers. So I created a Facebook page, and on the US pages, I went in, copied the link, put them in there, and we went from 5 people to 500 in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, just fucking each of us. It's good.
Wasn't really a week, but we did
Well,
crack that
it was-
500 markers. That's when you started the pod.
Yeah, it broke really, really quickly. We keep inviting people. And then basically, I think there was a couple of games. I travelled up to Brisbane for work, caught up with the guys. I think the first one we had about 10 people.
Yeah.
Those two.
Second one we had 12 or 14 people. We caught up, went and watched a Suns game live, few beers, whatever else. But that's effectively how it's grown. We met.
I didn't know Gav.
And
Boyd knew of me through a friend of a friend, and he reached out and threw me into the group. And then we all just kept chatting on this through the Facebook group that Gav created, and here we are.
Then we listened to some US pods, and the negativity drove us mad. So we created our own.
Look, I think that's the coolest part of the internet, right? Like, you guys can meet in your country. I can get to know you guys through the internet, have this kind of a conversation. There's a lot of shit that sucks about the internet, but this is one of those cool things. So
Yeah,
agreed.
And like Nate and I travelled over for the finals last year, which the Suns obviously didn't make. Thanks very much, Phoenix Suns. In saying that, it was one of the greatest trips we've ever had. We met Justin, we met Dan, we met Paul, we met Saul, we met Veronica, Lindsay. We met some awesome people. Went to a Mercury game, caught up with all the guys at the Wings Hangout. Just that trip was freaking amazing, to be brutally honest, and can't wait to do it again this year when the Suns make the finals. And we became Mercury fans because of Skylar Diggins-Smith and Sophie Cunningham.
Nate got laid over there, Espo.
what?
Because-
You did? Congratulations.
Because
That Hansel's so hot right now.
That's not what it sounds like, but I also had a Mercury game just because I thought it'd be fun. I took my shirt off and made Skylar sign my shoulder.
Did you get it tattooed on or after? Yeah.
he said he was going to. We
There was
ran
3 tattoo
every
shops in
tattoo
Phoenix.
place.
They wouldn't take me in.
No one would take him. And not surprising either, because he's a disgrace and a mess.
Oh, yeah, I'm really keen to go up against Espo in this random Suns. Are we doing that today, Gav?
It's up next, mate.
Okay.
It is up next.
Okay,
And that is a great segue.
Great segue.
Okay, cool.
Guys, do you have a piece of paper and a pen?
Sure.
Yes.
I don't. Can I use my phone? Can I type on my
Yes.
phone?
Yeah, of course you can.
All right.
You can. I'll probably play it twice. And after some of the discussions today, really, really nice, I've actually added a fifth, which is you need to tell me which of the two is the correct twin.
5 ways to fail. All right.
Espo should know this.
You should
The
fucking
fifth
win
one.
this.
One of those two, shoulder charged him, so he should know. Are we ready, gents?
Yes.
Here we go.
Fuck me.
How we go, guys? Play it again.
Yeah.
That'd be my worst showing.
I
Here,
think I
go
have
again.
all of them.
We'll play it again.
You fuck.
Here we go. once again, they're a little bit blurred for specific reasons. Don't want to make it too easy. The chat, please don't comment until we go through them. Number one, Boyd. Who was it?
I didn't.
No idea. Okay.
No
Nate,
idea.
who was
No,
number one?
I wrote down one of the Arsdale twins, but I don't know if I'm right.
Espo.
It's Alvin Adams, who actually still works for the franchise. Played
thought it
from
was black.
75 to 88.
It was Alvin Adams.
Do not disappoint us, Espo. Well done.
Espo nails the first one. Who was the second one? Boyd.
I'm trying to think of the visual. Was that the Bo Out? Was that the shaved head guy? I was thinking Bo Outlaw again, but it wasn't. Anyway,
Nate.
I wrote person down as the surname. Like I know the face, but
it wasn't Wesley. It wasn't Wesley.
Like
Nope, it
I
is.
got lost on that one.
It is
Espo.
Anthony Tolliver,
It is
That was
absolutely
it.
Wow.
Anthony
It
Tolliver.
is. a man who has the nicest manicured nails I've ever seen in the NBA. So
I thought it was a lot heftier.
Nice.
I thought it was a more solid build. Maybe it was later in his career. Anyway,
Boyd, who was the third?
was that McDice? Yeah.
Nate.
I wrote down Paul Silas.
Espo.
Antonio McDice on his second time around with the team. His first, he wore 34. So that was the second time when he was traded from the Knicks in the Stephon Marbury deal.
It was indeed Antonio McDice. Who was the fourth, Boyd?
Was it Vinny Del Negro?
Nate.
I actually put a question mark down. So
Yep, Vinny Del Negro, before he became a broadcaster for the team.
Nice.
It was Vinny Del Negro. And, of course, the last one. Which twin was it? Boyd.
That's Keith.
yeah,
Nate.
It's Marcus. It's a skin
Is
in
it?
the face. I'm pretty sure it's Marcus.
I wrote Mark Heath down, but I was looking for the height comparison. That's the only way I can
And
tell them
I
apart.
got it from more the beard. I thought
And
Keith
you're
was
saying
the beard.
Marcus,
I'm
Espo?
saying Marcus.
It was Mark Heath.
Oh, I blanked it out of my head. All right. Once he assaulted me, he was dead to me. So I just assumed it was Marcus.
To be honest,
Espo's
I'm really glad it was Mark
I don't
Heath.
give a fuck. I traded that guy years ago. He's fucking gone.
All right, gents, important question. Really important question.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week, Espo?
Anybody in the world or out of you three?
Anyone in the NBA world or us three? That's fine.
Well, I'd love to have a beer with all three of you. Then that's genuine. That's not hyperbole. I really mean that. But in the NBA world, shit, I'd love to sit down with the commissioner and understand how he's had to handle all this shit and get the real dirt on what was left out of the report, but that they actually found out. So,
Nate?
Well, because we do this every week, I just looked at the last week in basketball, and specifically, I want to have a beer with the Boomers squad because they qualified for the FIBA World Cup 2 nights ago.
nice.
The World Cup's not till August next year in Philippines, which is in Indonesia, Japan. So it's actually going to be close to me this year or the next round. But yeah, the boys qualified on a couple of nights ago.
And of course, an ex-Phoenix Sun playing for the US is dominating in that qualification, which is Langston Galloway.
A very good man, Langston Galloway.
Boyd?
Cedric Ceballos. He was Cedric Ceballos. Well, I just recalled he's recently been employed by the team, and I couldn't remember. I saw it on some fucking video he put up somewhere, but I didn't know what he was coming back to do. And I had all these questions, and I never end up looking into it. But I love Cedric, and I know he's been crook lately. And I just wanted to. I'd love to have a beer with him to find out what he's doing. Was it the old guard that hired him, or the new guard, and what he's doing there? And I'm just a big fan of Cedric.
Personally, my beer this week is James Jones. I want to see how he's feeling about all the bullshit that's been thrown around, because the guy come in with Monty, changed the culture. The team's different. We're a championship contender. And basically, all I've seen after the Philly game and the Orlando game is how pathetic James Jones and Monty Williams are. So I'd love to see how James is feeling about
this is what
the Suns fans base.
Oh, man, I can't believe Espo. I hate that you beat me in that fucking game, Espo. I really do. It annoys me. But
that's my wheelhouse, buddy.
You are elite in that regard. I will say that.
You start busting out dates and jersey numbers and airlines.
You've definitely been more. You've been more elite than anything anyone else has thrown up, including Justin, who's been pathetic every time.
Well, I got three. I'm sticking with it.
Hey, boy.
Don't be a flog.
Who's your flog of the week, boy?
My flog of the week is I think I've said this one in the last couple of weeks is Zin Varlock on Twitter, because he's a fucking he's a cerebral troll, and he sucked way too many people in, and there's no need for it. I told him to fuck off in a tweet this morning, I think, and he didn't reply. He probably blocked me.
So the Who Blocked Boyd this week segment will be Zin Varlock next week.
Probably. I don't know what his go is, man, but I'm not buying it, and he's just a fucking douche. Anyway, I'll still follow him though. I'll still follow him. I'm not too proud.
Yeah.
Nate, who's your flog of the week?
Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy that owns or did own the FTX crypto exchange. Now I'm going somewhere with this. Why?
It's tied to basketball.
It is tied to basketball. It's the fallout. So they were the biggest, apparently safest crypto exchange in the world, and they failed and they got a bailout buyout. They were sponsoring the Miami Heat. They had the stadium named for the Heat. And after going into bankruptcy, the Heat now have to rename the stadium. But what that means for the other cryptocurrencies or crypto exchanges that are sponsoring the NBA, and there's five. There's five that are major sponsors across the NBA. So you've got Crypto.com sponsoring the old Staples Center, Webull sponsoring Brooklyn to $30 million and change. You've got Coinbase that's a direct sponsor to the entire NBA. FTX sponsored Miami, and Socios, which I've never heard of, a direct sponsor to the LA Lakers. And there was a Storm X that signed on to sign the Portland jerseys, and they've already gone. So my biggest flog of the week is that guy, because you don't want to see a fall down effect where the rest of the crypto sponsorship money goes out as well, because a lot of it tied up in the NBA.
Espo.
It's cheesy, but Elon Musk. I mean, Twitter was already a cesspool, a hellscape, and it's gotten significantly worse in the last week.
Everybody can have a blue tick. Everybody.
Well, and I could give a crap about the blue check mark and any of that. It's for me, like, I don't care if I have it or not. It was more, I mean, these people that were running fake accounts it caused stocks to crash, all sorts of chaos, just simply because Elon Musk thought, well, I need to make $8 off these people somehow. Let's just do this thing. So he's
it's like $8 a month, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that actually happening?
Well, they shut it down after 2 days because people bought check marks for fake accounts and then trolled all sorts of people, including Elon Musk. And that's when
who could have seen that happening? Who could have seen that coming?
How the fuck am I going to know who to follow? Who's going to mold my NBA opinions if I have to fucking see an Andrew fucking Leesus with a blue tick and somehow give him some sort of weight to his word. And like, I'm going to get blindsided, and I'm going to take, it's going to throw everything out of whack. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Anyway, fuck you.
I think, let's be honest, everybody hates it. It's stupid. It's. I don't know why it was done. There is. What have I seen this week? I've seen a fake Woj. I've seen a fake LeBron James. I've seen a fake Nike. It's out of control. It's stupid. My flog of the week is what? What are you laughing at?
Oh no! I just I was thinking about. I'll you go. Do your thing.
My flog of the actually, I really haven't thought about it. My flog of the week is whoever set up a fake Flex Twitter account. Guys on Twitter, don't pay $8 to be a fuckhead. Wake up to yourself.
It's probably Zin Barlock.
So I shouldn't
just
pay $8 for the fake Saul Bookman account just to make it agree with me every time.
Actually, that would be pretty cool. Do that. I'm okay with that. Guys, great show. Had an absolute ball. ESPO, thank you very much for coming on.
Of course. Absolute pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yourself. Where does everyone find you? What's going on?
Just
plug it.
Just go to Sun's Reddit, and they'll be bitching about me, and you'll figure out where I am. So.
Well, apparently you are not as funny as a school shooting.
Nope. That was actually going to be my Twitter bio for a little while, but decided against it. You just find me at ESPO on Twitter. You can listen to me, watch me on the PHNX Sun show, and do it at your own discretion. I can be annoying. Apparently, my voice for at least 3 months. So.
After 3 months, you're good though.
True.
But no, certainly check out the PHNX guys after games every single game. They have some great content, and you'll really learn. Let's be honest, with our market, you'll learn a lot about Phoenix Suns basketball. Just listen to these guys pre-game, post-game. In the off season, they record every day, and I love your show. So keep it up, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Nate, last comments. Where do we find you?
You find me in Good Luckville. It's right around the corner from who's on Twitter anymore. Look, this has just been fun. Like I said, I was fanboying at the start of it. It's been a good. Can't believe we got through 2 hours and you're still with us, ESPO. I thought for sure you'd have better shit to do, but
there's no air circulation in this walk-in closet, so I lost feeling in my legs about 30 minutes ago, so I couldn't leave if I wanted to. So.
Right, no, thanks. This has been a lot of fun. I've got nothing more I can add.
Boyd,
you can catch me at Buds83, and you can catch Charles at Sir Charles. 2020.
Remember his birthday.
Too many to remember.
You're like, which one's this?
Named after
Twitter.
Round Mound of Rebound. Young Charles here.
Very nice. Pleasure to meet you, Charles.
And he's got Twitter now?
He's probably certified too for $8.
He'll probably be more popular than us within a week. Thank you guys at Aussie Suns fans. I'm at Guesswork Gav, but most of my stuff's on at Aussie Suns fans. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Enjoy. Hopefully everyone enjoyed tonight's show, and we will see you guys next Sunday or Monday, I guess.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
PHOENIX. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship reign. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a